so let's go to VPN. What is VPN? We'll see what is VPN. Okay, so let's say you have an Azure. This is, let's say this is Azure, and this is your subscription, and here you have a VNet. Okay, the VNet may be 10.125.0.0/24. Here you may deploy your VDIs. Okay, now you have internet, and then you have a office, your local office, which is, we call it as on-premise, right? So here you may have servers, etc. So now you need to communicate between your on-premise and Azure. So to do this communication, we need something called VPN. VPN is nothing but virtual private network. What you will do, you'll create a VPN appliance here, as well as you'll create a VPN appliance over here, and then you'll create a link between these two. Okay, so when you do this linking, right, the VM from your Azure can talk to your on-premise. From on-premise, you can talk to your Azure. So this is how you'll establish a connection. And when you use VPN, there is something called point-to-site VPN, site-to-site VPN, and then we have something called express route. Okay, so point-to-site VPN is nothing but today's world, you are working from home. If you use a VPN client, right, which is Pulse Secure or any other Fortinet or etc. etc. So that is called point-to-site. Why? Because you are connecting from one point. My whiteboard is behaving. Okay, so you're connecting from one point to your site. For example, you're connecting, let's say this is the work from home user 1, work from home user 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. So everyone is connecting to one central location, which is your office network. So this is called point to site, because from one point to connecting your site. Then second comes site to site. Site to site means from one site to another site, you are creating a connection. It means, let's say you have a branch office in India and head office in UAE. So you wanted to do a communication, right? Either you can create a VPN or MPLS or whatever it is. It is called site to site because you're connecting between two entire sites. So in Azure, we use site to site to connect between your on-premise and your location and your Azure. And the drawback of site-to-site VPN is this traffic will go over the public internet. Okay, and this will have a limitation up to 10 GB, up to 1 GB, I believe. So you cannot go beyond 1 GB if you use. If I'm not wrong, it is 1 GB. I don't know now. They might have increased, but you can go up to 1 GB. For example, if your user is creating a more load which is higher than 1 GB, then your bandwidth will choke because this pipe will have only capacity of 1 GB. If they are accessing or if they are downloading, uploading huge files which is sitting over here, then it may create a bandwidth which is more than 1 GB, then your VPN link will choke and it will lead to an incident. Okay, so this is the one disadvantage, and second disadvantage is public network. So it will go over the public network. Okay, if somebody is doing some crazy things, attacker, they might get into your network because it is purely on the internet. So to avoid this issue, Microsoft comes with something called Express Route. Express Route is nothing but you are physically connecting a cable from your data center to Microsoft data center. This is a physical connection. You will have a optical fiber cable which is directly connected from your router in your data center to Microsoft router in Microsoft Azure data center. Okay, this will be connected over the service provider. So either Airtel, Jio, or your Tata Communication or Do Etisalat. So they will help you to do this connection. Here you'll have a bandwidth up to, I'm not sure, 100 GB or something like that. So, and this is a very private network because it is an end-to-end private connections. So nobody else can interfere in this. So this is a pure private and highly secure, and it will provide you more bandwidth. Okay, up to 100 GB. 100 GB or I'm not sure 10 GB or 100 GB. So you can check the documentation in the Microsoft article. Okay, so this is how the connection between your on-prem and your Azure works. Okay, so let's go to the last topic, which is firewall. So in Azure, firewall is appliance which will control your traffic. Okay, so for example, let's say you have a VNet and you have a subnet. Okay, and then you have your internet, and then you have your on-premise, which may be let's say this is your Azure cloud, and which is connected to your on-premise using uh, either express route or site to site. Now you know what is site to site and what is express route, right? So it is connected. Now let's say I'm having a VM over here. So by default, I can communicate directly to my on-premise VM. And from on-premise also, let's say I have on-prem VM here. So I can directly communicate to my VM in Azure. But security people doesn't like that, because let's say some attacker got access to it. He can simply can get into your all the services which is there in the on-premise, etc. Because it's everything is allowed by default, right? Forget about NSG and other things. Okay, just thinking that you're deployed a VM, and that's it. So you can access everything, and internet also you can access everything. Now security people doesn't like this, so they will tell that okay, by default I don't want to allow anything. Okay, and you may have things in mind that okay, then I'll deploy NSG, but NSG is not that powerful as firewall. Okay, as I told you, NSG, uh, you know. Uh, NSG cannot work with the URLs, etc. It will only work with the IP addresses. So some limitations are there. So, and also NSG will work on the subnet level. Let's say if you have n number of VNets here, so then deploying in NSG in each subnets and controlling, it's a messy thing. So to do that, to overcome all these challenges, we will deploy firewalls. So firewall, what we will do, irrespective of you have n number of VNets or subnets, all the traffic it will first go to the firewall, and then you will decide whether I wanted to send it to internet or I wanted to send it to on-premise. Based on that, and also let's say you have another subscription and you have another VNet over here which is communicate, which is established over VPN peering. So that traffic also you can flow over the firewall. So everything you can control on the firewall. So this is how it works. Firewall is working, which is also called, we call it as NVA, which is network virtual appliance. In market, we have a number of appliances. For example, we have Azure Firewall, we have Palo Alto, NVS, etc. So most of the customer, they use the same which they use on premise. Let's say they have in on-prem, they have a Palo Alto, Checkpoint, or whatever it is. They may use the same in Azure because they already knows how it works, right? So see, that is the thing. Okay, but in today's example, we are going to use Azure Firewall. So that is very simple, and it can do all the jobs. So in practical world, I have seen many customers are using Palo Alto, because it has got multiple capabilities as compared to our Azure Firewall. It has routing capability, etc., etc. Okay, so this is brief about Azure Firewall.